Hello, welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We're in conversation today with three very important men associated with the series that is generating a lot of waves these days in the country. I'm talking about Bambai Meri Jaan, which has released very successfully on Amazon Prime Video. Joining us today is the captain of the ship, Shujat Saudagar. Also, lead stars Avinash Tiwari and Aditya Raval. Welcome all of you to NewsX.
Thank you. Thank you,
Uday. Thank you for having us.
Let's begin just by talking about the response first. So, Avinash, let me begin with you first. How has that been? Have you been soaking it in the last few days? How has the response, the praise, really been for you?
So it's been a festive time for me. All my friends, all my family members are celebrating every day. It feels like Diwali has happened much earlier. And it's chaotic. I wouldn't deny it because there are two shows back to back that have come through, and there are a lot of promotions that are happening. So I really haven't got a chance to sit down and consume it. But hoping that I don't mind this celebration, this chaos going on for some time longer. And it's just joy for now.
Okay, Aditya, same question to you. What has been something that has stood out for you? Some of the responses that you've got, which a couple of them that have been the most special for you, because audiences are really loving your character. I think in the trailer there was, a small jhalak, but obviously now that people have seen the episodes, they're enjoying your performance too.
I mean, look, on a personal level, it's just incredibly heartening, to be able to sort of, for the amount of work that we did, the few days that we spent together working on the show, for it to have had such a huge effect for viewers, even just casual viewers, sort of, pointing out the finer things that, whether it's the writers, whether it's Shujat sir, whether it's some idea that we had that we sort of developed while shooting, all those little nuances that are being caught by, even regular audiences. That to me is the most heartening, because then even when you are sort of jumping onto something next, know the smallest details, there's always somebody watching. And as an artist, to be very honest, there is nothing more heartening, nothing more motivating than that. Ki yaar, tu choti si choti cheezein karega na, usko bhi log notice karenge. And that is just a beautiful experience. But also on a larger level, with regards to the show, a lot of people are enjoying it. Look, the average age of our country is 25 to 28. So, while yes, there have been some gangster films in the past, they haven't really, a lot of the young audiences haven't really seen that world. So, we were confident that for them it'll be new and it'll be novel and it'll be interesting. But what's most heartening is that even older viewers are finding, that this story has gone and taken a different sort of route. It's gone deeper into relationships, into the families of these gangsters. And that is, it's beautiful that they're appreciating that. It's just that it's that same thing, right? There are so many stories that you can tell, or rather just so many stories you can tell, but the way you tell them is what makes it. And the fact that, whether it's the choices made by the makers or us as performers, the fact that they're landing is just incredibly heartening.
Yes. Well, it's landed successfully. So that is, I think, made the journey worthwhile for you all. Shujat, what do you believe has worked, for the show? Is it the father-son relationship? Is it, just the way it's been shot? Is it the fact, as Aditya was saying, that this young generation is really enjoying seeing a story like this? So what do you believe has really clicked? Or is it the gangster police, conflict? What do you believe as well? And I think you're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think what really connected with me is what is connecting with the audience. To tell you very honestly, 5 years ago, when I was sent the story, I initially wasn't really keen myself in doing this, because there's a lot of material which has been made in this, and I thought it was already exhausted, till I didn't start reading it. And I was quite blown away by the written material itself in terms of the narrative and the story. I think what is really connecting with people, besides, of course, the grandeur or the thrill of gangsters and organized crime and the underworld, I think is the emotional core of the story. I think at the end of the day, once we go beyond, the so-called dramatics of a narrative, the visual dramatics, what really remains and what becomes relevant is the emotional core of a story. Whether it's Game of Thrones or Peaky Blinders or Oppenheimer. I mean, we are seeing all these films, even Satya for that matter, right? Or even Company, about friendship, right? Is the emotions and the relationships and the dysfunctionality of them, whether it is a father-son or whether it's a husband-wife, whether it's about parenting, whether it's nurture versus nature, whether it's a brother-sister. These are all relatable, emotions that we go through in our day-to-day lives. And I think that is what really remains with the audience once you go beyond the world creation of it. Of course, everything needs to come together. I mean,
Yes.
having that, I think we've succeeded hugely in creating this world and transporting the viewers to have a immersive experience of that era.
Okay. Avinash, what was the prep like, for this role? Because they kind of based on, on real life people and real life incidents, but there is obviously a lot of fictionalization as well. What was the kind of prep for you before taking up the projects and actually coming on set?
I think after I read the script, within 10 days, I was sent the clothes to wear, what character wears. We had a workshop, I think about 20-25 days, where we worked on a lingo, we worked on a body language. We did scenes with the other actors so that we could find our ways of doing it. And I think we ensured that every work is done before we reach the set. I don't think we wasted any time on set discussing anything. It was all done. We went to set, we shot, we were done, go back home. The preparation, of course, apart from the workshop itself, is something that happens more intrinsically, where you keep going through, keep thinking about what this person is and what would really make him become what he does. I pushed myself. A couple of thoughts that really stayed with me at that point of time was, for Dara, was फर्क सिर्फ इतना है कि तुम्हारे सपने हैं, मेरी भूख है. And the other one being, आग को पता नहीं होता कि वो जल रहा है या जला रहा है. These are two thoughts that kind of stayed with me for Dara, and then you kind of keep evolving, keep imagining things more and more. Kind of becomes a part of you as an actor, because this is your job and you kind of know how to do it, maybe. So yeah, that's the only thing I can say. And eventually you have your guidance of a director who has created this world. And no matter what prep you do, unless until it's part of the storytelling that he's doing, it's all frivolous. It's all useless. So eventually, whatever prep you do, you bring it to the set, leave it all aside, and just jump into how it's being desired by a director.
Okay, you're a director's actor, clearly. But just very quickly on the OTT medium, Avinash, because as you said, it's been back-to-back releases for you. Again, that was also a project on another OTT platform. But how is, this OTT platform been a game changer for you in your career? Do you believe it's a great time for you that you've, come into this industry, and do you believe these roles, which are on OTT platforms, interestingly written for you, and that you've done, have really been a game changer for you because you've given such great performances in the last couple of years?
I think OTT platforms have been a game changer for the entire industry. Just for nothing else, if for nothing else, then just the fact that there are so many different kind of stories being told now. Because the number of platforms have increased, the number of films and shows that need to be made have increased. Hence, it is kind of providing more variety. And because there's more variety, there's more work for all the actors and technicians. In my eyes, it's a technology which is kind of shaping the creative aspects of the industry at this point of time. I've been a beneficiary of that, because there are different kind of stories being said. There are opportunities to give opportunities to actor like me to go and try and do what we do well. Having said that, I keep saying this: the biggest benefit that we have with the OTTs is the fact that we reach to 200 to 40 countries now. Which is why I think this is a big breakthrough moment, and I need to really acknowledge it again, that The Bombay Meri Jaan is in a way one of the first Indian shows to have a global premiere in London.
Okay.
Telecasted in 240 countries with 30 plus languages, dubbed and subtitled. And we truly hope that it's going to be a breakthrough moment for Indian content worldwide. We
Right.
consume a lot of stuff from around the world.
Yeah.
We have such a flourishing country. I really hope it is time now for India to really reach out to the world and say we are ready for the world.
Yes, we've seen so many Hollywood gangster flicks. Now it's time for our very own Indian one as well, which, as you're saying, it's all across the world. So let's hope people watch it more and more in the days ahead as well. Aditya, what is this connect for you with these, characters of Grey in Faraz too, and now, of course, in Bombay Meri Jaan?
Well, it's just like I said, my choices are dependent on what I am also given, and as far as both Faraz or Bombay Meri Jaan is concerned, they're really no-brainers, as far as the characters go. They're just such wonderful characters to play with. Faraz, there was a different kind of depth. There was a lot to play with the language and that still of the night kind of feeling. With this, it's almost the opposite, in many ways. I think there's great variety in, even if you put it under an umbrella of, say, the color gray, there's still a whole gamut that you can run,
Yeah.
And I feel like in many ways, a character like Chota is very different from the character Nibras, to a point where you could even take, say, a good quote unquote character who might be more similar to one or the other, but both of them are very different from each other, So it's really things that interest me are, just I look at the character, I look at the role. Also, the variety in all of these roles is something that I hanker for as an actor. And when you're in the safe hands of someone like Shujat Saudagar sir or Hansal Mehta sir, it's going to be a joy regardless of what you play. So
Okay. I didn't interview you for your first project, even though I saw it, of course, at a preview in Delhi, and I love the film. But I have to ask you then that typical question, जो हर debutant को पूछा जाता है. When did you decide that you wanted to be an actor? And do you remember that first moment when you told that to your parents and you told that to your acclaimed father, Paresh ji?
it was actually, I mean, I was I used to play football professionally. So for the longest time, I was, just obsessed with sport, and my 90s involved sort of, watching the third day of the post-T session of Zimbabwe versus West Indies, and not having seen films for months and that. But, I think I was always involved with the theater. And despite the fact that I didn't go for my father's shoots, I did go for a lot of his rehearsals and all of those things. So even when I started playing football, what happened is, as a professional footballer also, even if you train twice a day or training 6 hours a day, what do you do for the rest of the day? So I started writing for the joy of it. And then writing sort of took over slowly, and it became the thing that I wanted to do. And acting was something that I'd always planned to do alongside, but it just so happened that the parts I was offered, and I guess what I was able to show on the screen, led to more and more work, to a point where it's now two journeys that I'm on concurrently, and one ends the other, and vice versa. So it was more of an organic thing as opposed to a midnight chat, knock on my parents' bedroom door and be like, "Humko actor banna hai." It wasn't very much. It wasn't very much that at all.
Okay. Well, last question then, Shujat, to you. The question I think that is on the nation's mind these days. When is season 2 coming? What can you tell us about it? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, still very early days with that. But let me tell you, yes, the process has begun. We are right now, looking in terms of the writing of it. Renzel and the rest of my writers are like kind of pulling their hair out. But yeah, a few things I can definitely let you in is, of course, you'll see a lot more of Dara and Chota in season 2. And we are hoping, we come out with something fantastic in terms of the narrative that we want to tell. And keeping fingers crossed. So, yeah.
Okay, well, waiting for that very soon. But for now, soak in all the love, and let's hope more people watch it as well in the next few days,
Yes.
internationally as well, as Avinash was, telling us earlier too. Thank you all so much for joining us, and congratulations on the response once again.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Uday.
Thank you. Pleasure.